Conservative media viewers and tennis fans all around the world, what is up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, joined by Paul at Villarreal. We are talking tennis, we're talking Olympics 2012, we're talking about the gold medal match between, in my personal opinion, the greatest tennis player of all time, super champion Roger Federer versus Andy Murray. And Andy Murray, Paul, has been on an incredible hot streak as of late, peaking, in my personal opinion, at the right time. First of all, personal opinion only, not alleging facts, not casting aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check disclaimers. Andy Murray made it to the finals of Wimbledon facing Roger Federer, and now he's made it to the finals of the Olympics, okay? And he just beat Novak Djokovic. And this is going to be, I believe, a classic matchup. I think you're going to have a lot of support for Andy Murray in those stands, Paul. At the same time, you know, how many times I mean, I think that Roger Federer is very comfortable at the All England Club there in you know, the Wimbledon situation. And, you know, I think that the tennis fans there and around the world definitely respect Roger Federer when he's meant for the sport in his game. But putting all that aside, let's talk about this match. How do you see this match coming down? I gotta tell you, I favor Roger Federer, especially given the level of play that he's been done. Now, he went through a very grueling match there with Del Potro, but at the same time, I mean, I look at it like this. Roger Federer is in such great shape, and he's so efficient, and he's so experienced, and he's able to handle those kind of pressure situations. And if you look at him being able to come back and face the challenge against Del Potro and beat him, even though he had so many unforced errors, I don't think that if you're Andy Murray, you can count on Roger Federer having those kind of, you know, that level, those number of errors coming into this final match, Paul.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great matchup. Their Wimbledon meeting about 4 weeks ago was an excellent matchup. Andy Murray won the first set in that meeting. Federer took the next 3 sets with a break in each set off of Andy Murray's serve. I think that Andy Murray, as you mentioned, is peaking. I think it's going to be a great showdown. I slightly favor Federer, and I will favor Federer more if rain comes. I think that's in the forecast. If they have to close the roof, I definitely favor Federer, because then he'll be able to serve better, and it's just better conditions for him. So when the roof is closed, he's almost unbeatable.
Let's roll that out. What change when the roof is closed? How does that change the atmosphere, and what kind of impact does that have on the play, the surface, everything?
What happens is the ball, I know that it supposedly increases the speed of serving, and it also has an effect on how the ball bounces. It's slipping my mind right now whether the ball bounces lower or higher in the indoors. I believe it bounces lower, but I'm not certain of that. But it's one of those, I believe it's lower, and so basically the court ends up playing faster. And Roger Federer is probably, I would say without a doubt, probably the best indoor tennis player ever. He's almost unbeatable on indoor fast surfaces, indoor hard courts, indoor grass. For several years now, the World Tennis Finals, World Tour Finals, has been played indoor in, I believe in London actually, and it's like nobody can touch him there. I mean, he's decimated Nadal, who usually has his number. He's decimated Nadal on that surface. Pretty much everybody believes that if it's an indoor surface, you know, you're in very bad shape against Roger Federer. So I think the court will get faster. So if you're an Andy Murray fan, you've got to hope that the weather holds up and that the roof stays open on Sunday. So if the roof is closed, I clearly favor Federer. If the roof is open, I still favor Federer, but I think it's going to be a real fight. It wouldn't surprise me if Andy Murray won if the roof's open, but this is, as you mentioned, this is the final individual accomplishment that Roger Federer needs in his career. Now, he's never won a Davis Cup, but that's a team event. He has won all the Grand Slams. He has won the World Tour Finals. This is the last thing that he needs for the Golden Career Slam, and he is going to be heavily motivated. We saw that against Del Potro today. Federer just would not relent. I do think he'll be a little bit fatigued from the long match today, but he'll have nearly 48 hours to recover. He's in tremendous shape. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great match.
I think it's going to be a great match, and Federer can actually put a total signature on this race, and you know, and really stamp, you know, and he's still going, obviously, and you know, but really put a stamp on this year in this kind of career, in my personal opinion, not unlike the way that Michael Phelps has done in the Olympic pool when people were maybe kind of counting him out at first, and look at how he's roared back with victory after victory. And I believe even though he has one more race, he is the most accomplished swimmer of this games. I mean, you know, if everyone talks about 2008, which was unbelievable and absolutely, you know, out of this world, but I mean, he's been super successful here in this game, and I think that Roger Federer is feeling it and out of that momentum. And like you said, it's very interesting that in a sense, this sort of home court advantage may turn into a disadvantage for Murray if the weather turns bad and they have to close out roof. And so I look at it like this. Andy Murray's playing incredible tennis. He's taking his game to the next level. He's absolutely ready for this. And I feel like if Andy Murray comes out there and gets the advantage and that crowd gets behind him, anything can happen. At the same time, I flip it the other way. If Federer is able to come out strong and stifle Murray and get the early advantage, then you know the pressure might mount on Murray, and particularly if they have to close that roof, then it can all go downhill for Andy Murray on that one. So I'm favoring Federer on this one. I just feel like Federer it's almost like his will has taken over, and he's got the coolness, the demeanor, the technique, the experience. That kind of championship level experience, whatever, and I just feel like he really wants this because, okay, yeah, the doubles, gold before, I think, people were talking about Federer won that. We're talking about individual gold medal here, individual golden slam, if you will. This is the one piece of hardware on an individual basis that Federer, that has eluded Federer, and I believe, Paul, that he's going to be absolutely focused on winning it.
Yeah, look, we've talked about this before between ourselves. I think there are two more individual tournaments that Roger Federer wants to win. The first is this Olympics, or an Olympic singles, and this is his best shot. And he wants to win Wimbledon one more time because then he will have won it more than Pete Sampras or anybody else in history. I think those are the two primary individual tournament goals he has. Now he's one match away from winning a gold medal, and you're going to see an all-out effort from Roger Federer on Sunday.
I think that's absolutely right. I think he's going to be ready to go. And look, I mean, you look at what he was able to do with Del Potro. And overall, of course, in my personal opinion, Andy Murray is a better player than Del Potro, especially right now. But and Andy Murray can definitely do some stuff to frustrate Federer in some ways. But I mean, not having to deal with that massive serve from the 6'6" Juan Del Potro, I think that there's a lot of factors that can absolutely work in Federer's favor. And I really liked some of the passing shots he was doing there at the end. And again, go ahead. Hey, well, let me just tee you up on this one. What I was going to say is I can't get over how many unforced errors Roger Federer had, and how kind of spotty, in my personal opinion, for Federer the network was, and I don't think you're going to see that again. So if you take that out, what kind of, and yet Federer was still able to win and still able to deal with that massive serve from Del Potro. So if you take those things out of the equation, think about the kind of play that Roger Federer is going to be able to deliver on this gold medal match.
That's right. Look, the difference between Andy Murray and Juan Del Potro is Murray definitely moves incredibly well. Yeah. He's probably the second best returner and second best mover on the tour this time. I would put him behind Novak Djokovic in both of those categories, but he's right there. Del Potro can't move like that. Del Potro, his serve is good. It's not incredible, but it's very good. Andy Murray has certainly increased his own serving prowess and power recently. The one difference between Del Potro and Murray is Del Potro, his forehands, his ground strokes are so hard. The only other person I can think of on the tour that hits that hard when they're on their game is Robin Soderling. Maybe Tomas Berdych when he's doing it, but Del Potro played phenomenally well today. He hit the ball. He moved extremely well. He just puts more pressure on you than Andy Murray can put on you. Andy Murray will make you run a lot, and he'll retrieve balls, but he doesn't have the flat-out power that Del Potro has. And I think that's why you saw Federer hit a lot of balls into the net, was because he had to try to force things. He was on defense, and he was running. Now, some of those were mental mistakes, clearly. Just some were physical mistakes, but some were mistakes because Roger Federer had to try to end the points. He had to try to make something happen.
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. Roger Federer, I thought, showed a lot of nerves today. He did not play his best, and he still won. I do think he will play better against Andy Murray, and I do think that his game will be at a higher level. I don't think he'll have as many nerves. Yes, he wants to win. I'm sure he'll realize the moment, but he knows how to play Andy Murray. The way that Juan Del Potro played today, he could beat anybody. And I think Federer was feeling the pressure of, hey, I might not be able to beat this guy. I don't think he'll feel that way against Andy Murray.
And I agree with you. And to me, in some degree, it's obviously different. But some aspects of Murray's game remind me of Michael Chang, remind me obviously of parts of Nadal's game, and being able to be very athletic and running down points and being able to create opportunities and by being able to cover the court in ways that a lot of other players can't. But I think that that is where the experience and the extreme technique and finesse of a Roger Federer can come into play. You may be able to run down this and that, whatever, and create a larger zone of play, if you will, as a player with Murray. But when you're Roger Federer and you know how to play shots, how to time shots, how to be strategic, how to go with the power game and with the touch game, I think that's where Roger Federer can really put pressure on Andy Murray.
Yeah, and Roger Federer served great today. He had 20-plus aces in 3 sets. Now, of course, there were a lot of games in that last set, but still, he served very well. If Federer is serving like he served today, Andy Murray is going to have problems. And as we said, if the roof is closed, Andy Murray is going to be able to retrieve fewer balls, and then he's going to have even more problems. So I think if Federer brings a serve, he's going to be in good shape in that match. But look, Andy Murray's playing as well as I have ever seen him. His Wimbledon final match was the best I've ever seen him play. He's continuing to play well. It should be a great matchup. I think Federer will find a way to get it done, and I think that'll be easier for him if the roof is closed. There's
no doubt about it. Like I said, and we're by no stretch are we counting Andy Murray out at all. Andy Murray is playing. We congratulate him. We had a video before where we congratulated him on this win, make it to the final match here, the gold medal match at the 2012 Olympics. But the point of it is this, and again, if Andy Murray gets out there and he gets some momentum, and maybe Roger Federer is not fully recovered or whatever happens, that crowd gets behind Murray. Anything can happen, and Murray can even take it to a whole different level and win. I mean, imagine if you're Andy Murray, you win the gold medal right there in front of all your fans there, at Wimbledon. I mean, there could be, we could have, would the Prince and Kate be there? I mean, Prince William, everything. Would there be more royalty there? I mean, would even possibly the Queen show up? Who knows what could happen? I mean, think of that kind of event. Think of England, what in the tennis world. I mean, the kind of celebration and accolades and that kind of stuff. I mean, we've seen this kind of situation before where an athlete just steps it up because they really feel it, they really want it, and they just feed off that crowd. So that definitely, Paul, I can see that happening. But what you said before, I think to me is more persuasive, which is you look at the serve of Roger Federer and the pressure he was able to put on Del Potro. If he is able to get that serve going early and put pressure on Andy Murray, then it flips the other way. Then all that energy from the crowd could become pressure for Andy Murray, and he could see flashbacks to Wimbledon and losing again to Roger Federer. I mean, listen, I mean there's a litany of tour professionals out there that have vivid memories of losing to Roger Federer.
No, definitely, and we need to mention, I don't think I mentioned it yet, that all of the preceding rounds have been best of 3, but this is going to be a best of 5 match.
The great point.
I also think that favors Roger Federer. But what you said is right. What we saw in the Wimbledon final was Roger Federer lose the first set, but still come back and win the next 3 sets. And I know that Roger Federer is known or regarded as one of the best front runners in the sport. And it was something like when he loses the first set and best of 5, he only wins X percentage of the time. Well, he still beat Andy Murray in that situation, even though he had to come back to do it. I think that if Federer, as you said, if he's able to come out firing early and get up on Andy Murray, I agree with you. I think a lot more pressure will be on Andy Murray.
And that's
another thing.
Go ahead. I'll just say super quick. That's basically the bottom line, with a lot more definition and a lot more explanation. But the bottom line summary of what I'm trying to say is, I believe, especially this being 5 sets, it's a great that you bring that up. It's very important. I believe that Roger Federer is fully capable of coming back from behind and winning. I think that is much harder to do for Andy Murray. I think if Andy Murray gets down because of the front runner ability of Roger Federer and because of potential pressure that Andy Murray may feel, and perhaps the deja vu of losing to Federer before, I think that it's going to be a lot harder for Andy Murray to come back if he's down early. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, and what you said earlier, it goes back to, I just think Roger Federer has a superior mental game, which is not a slight on Andy Murray. I mean, Roger Federer pretty much has a mental advantage over almost anybody, except maybe head-to-head against Rafael Nadal, just because of that matchup. But Federer can win in multiple ways. He's comfortable winning in different ways. I think that one of the things I noticed with Andy Murray today when he was playing Djokovic was he got a little more animated than he has recently. And I know that the announcers mentioned that Ivan Lendl was not in his box. I guess he wasn't at the Olympics. And, Andy seemed more demonstrative today with his frustration. So if he starts getting frustrated, and I guess if Ivan Lendl's not there to kind of steady him down, then I agree. He might come unravel, particularly if the crowd is just really going nuts.
And that's interesting. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of X factors here and a lot of things that can happen. But, that's what we think. The bottom line is that Paul and I are picking Roger Federer to win. Paul's intangibles are, if the roof gets closed, that could favor Roger Federer, and that could be a disadvantage to Murray. My intangible is if Roger Federer is able to get that serve going and goes up early on Murray, that is, I believe, a big advantage of Roger Federer. And we both believe that experience can play into this as well, but we think it's going to be a very, very excellent match here, and we're excited to see it. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win, and why? Tell us what you think about this. Bottom line, for both of these players, this represents a historic match. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. Whoever wins, it captures a piece of history, whether it's Andy Murray winning there on the home court in front of all the fans worldwide, television, everything like that, and being able to beat Roger Federer and get an Olympic gold medal and being able to now elevate his game. Whether if it's Roger Federer is being able to capture the last piece of individual tennis hardware that you needed, having that individual golden slam, being continuing the rank of #1, continuing to say 2012 is the year of Roger Federer in professional tennis. I mean, there's so much that goes into this, so much on the line. Where do you come out? Who do you think is going to win? Give us the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion. That is Paul at Villarreal. We are conservative media. Please rate this video up. Also, please post to your social networking sites. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.